afternoon. Welcome to Rythmia. Meg here, live from Fruits Juice Bar, once again in sunny Costa Rica. Filling time as people join the live broadcast, as always, talking a whole lot about nothing. I'm also going to get my computer set up over here so that I can see what's going on. Follow along, say hello to everyone. Good afternoon. It's Sunday Fun Day. It's Sunday in some places around the world, as I was corrected a couple of weeks ago when I kept saying it's Sunday, it's Sunday, it's Sunday. In other places like Australia, I think it is Monday morning. So how do I don't know how to watch. Isn't that funny? I'm like, I don't know how to watch a live video on my other computer. So Kenneth, I'm going to rely on you unless you can figure it out. So who do we got on board here already? We've got Deborah just hopped online. Melissa's hopped online. Hi from Palm Springs. Hello. Hi, Deborah. So lovely to see you guys. Okay, so as you'll notice, I have something on my head today, and I did it as a bit of a joke because I definitely don't need it because I have a new haircut. Revealing live here on Facebook. I am gone back to the shaved head, and it's super, super cool to have that going. To be rocking this new haircut here in Costa Rica right now, as we're still enjoying the beautiful heat. It's never not summer here, but we have beautiful breezes, and it feels lovely on the hair. So I don't need my hairnet to work in the kitchen today. And there we go. Thank you, Kenneth. Kenneth, you should say hi since I'm talking about you. Say hi to everyone. There's hi, our buddy, our dear friend Kenneth. This is with me again today, as always.
Thank you. Enjoy.
He's going to be keeping an eye on all the comments and questions as they come in, as per always. So if you do have anything you want to know, just let us know, write it in the comments, and Kenneth will be sure to let me know as we move through. So today, as promised, and you can see in my cheeky description, just so you know, I'm the one that wrote the description for the video. And what did I say? I said, dairy-free, goodness me. Plant powered quesos for all to see. Really, really cheesy, but that's the title of today's Facebook Live, and we are talking about vegan homemade cheeses. And I'm doing 2 back-to-back cheese-themed classes. Today we're going to be making 4 different types of plant-based cheeses relatively from scratch. And then next Sunday we're going to be doing a shortened version of my Facebook Live. I'm going to be coming to you live from Nosara once again, which I did a live one on the Blue Zones a while back, but I'm going to be in Nosara again about 2 hours south of here. I'll be road tripping. And I'll be doing a Facebook Live there where I will be doing some more cheese-based, plant-based cheese-based recipes, including possibly a vegan cheesecake and maybe some vegan mac and cheese, but we'll see. It's all going to depend on how the cheeses that we make today turn out. So to get started here, I'm just going to see who else is online. Kevin Cease, hello, Kevin Cease. Lovely to have you. Thanks for joining. Paul the Bruin back again. Hello, Paul. Lovely to see you. And Mark. And George Bell. Hello, George Bell. Lovely to see you guys. I really, really love this, you know, like so many past guests from Rythmia hopping online here, connecting from all over the world. Like this is just so, so incredible. And I just feel so happy to be able to do this with you guys once a week. I'm also super excited for any potential guests or any guests that are already booked in that will be joining us in the future. So I'm super happy that we're able to connect this way before you join us. We've got a brand new group of guests, as it is Sunday, that have been arriving over the last 24 hours, and many of them have said that, you know, they've been watching the videos and Jerry's video and Christian's and Jeff's, and they just feel connected already to Rythmia before even getting here, which is so beautiful. So, you know, if you're thinking about, thinking about coming to Rythmia, or if you are booked, please keep watching. If you can't watch these videos live, they're always available on the Facebook page, under the video section, and also on YouTube. We do have a YouTube channel as well where you can get collection of all the videos that we've been doing. I think we've been doing these videos for a good 12 weeks, at least 3 months. I feel like we've been doing this, perhaps even longer. And I don't think they're going to be ending anytime soon. So mark it in your calendar. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Facebook Lives with Rythmia. And I try to do a little reminder on my personal Facebook page as well. So if you friends on Facebook, you'll get a little live reminder from me shortly before each Sunday session. So I think it's time to get into our first recipe. As I said, we're doing vegan cheeses, and the first thing we're going to do is a staple that I like to have always ready. Jeremy, you want to come say hi? I was bringing in a different staff member every week to say hello, so I think Jeremy's already said hi once, but Jeremy, oh, this is total all of the world. And hoy nosotros hacemos quesos, diferentes quesos veganos. ¿Quiere probar? So I'm just telling him we're making vegan cheeses, so I'm going to let him try a piece. I made this cheese yesterday. We're going to be making this live. This is a sunflower seed fermented cheese that I've had culturing overnight. Very good. You hear that right from the mouth of Jeremy. Very good. Perfect. So we're going to be making that. Perfect. We're going to be making that live today. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. That's not going to be the first thing we're doing today. The first thing we're going to be doing is, like I was saying, it's a staple in my house. I always like to keep it on hand. It's a pretty basic recipe. A lot of these recipes, you'll see different versions of them happening all over. Like we've been making these types of plant-based cheeses for years, since the whole plant-based raw vegan thing was started, you know, great gaining popularity in the 60s and 70s. We started coming up with these recipes. Pardon me. So these are pretty basic ones, and then you can edit and add and subtract ingredients to your liking. So do I have anything else here going on? Let's go through here big quick. Therese, hello. Hello, Therese. Hello. George Bell. Hi, Meg. Said beautiful. Okay, so the first recipe, vegan Parmesan. Super, super simple recipe. It's all of 4 to 5 ingredients, and you can make it in bulk and have it on hand all week long for sprinkling over all of your recipes. I don't know if you guys can hear that we've got some people talking right behind the camera. I hope that the audio is okay. The restaurant is full right now, and it's lunchtime. Hopefully thumbs up, thumbs down if the audio is okay. That would be great. So we're going to go ahead and make our Parmesan. So I've got 2 machines here today. I've got my high-powered blender and my food processor. The food processor that I have here is a super, like it's a home-grade one. This is like a regular old food processor that you could buy at any hardware store. Probably from anywhere from $30 to $120, depending on the size, the brand, and the quality. This one here, I think I bought for about $60. There's tons of different brands, so pick up whatever you have access to. Oh, and we have the blender here as well, and this is a super high-powered one, but you could use any blender that you have for the recipe later. For this recipe, we're going to use the food processor. And super easy, like all my recipes. It's mostly like toss it in the machine, let the machine do the work, right? So that's what we're doing again today. So the first ingredient I have here is almonds. So this is just some slivered almonds. You can use whole almonds as well. I just opted to use these, and I do when I'm making this recipe because we're going to pulverize this stuff because we're going for Parmesan texture. So these are blanched almonds that are slivered, so they are going to process up really, really quickly and really, really finely. So I'm just going to toss those into my food processor. The next ingredient is cashews. I've got toasted cashews here. There we go. You could use roast raw if you want. I don't know what's wrong with me. I can't come up with my words today. So the raw cashews is here as well. And I'm not properly measuring any of this stuff, but I will post proper recipes for you all in the comments after the broadcast, as for always. I would say about a half a cup of each or a cup of each, just even parts at this point. Even parts almonds, even parts cashews. The next ingredient I'm going to toss in is just some garlic powder. So this is just dried pulverized garlic, and this is just going to give us our savory flavor. Just like a quarter of a teaspoon of that. We don't want it too strong. A pinch of sea salt, and I've just got a ramekin here of sea salt. I always just keep a little bowl of sea salt handy. You want to come join us? Come on and have a seat. I can pull up a chair. You can sit behind us here if you want to. You want to stand there? Okay, perfect. Just inviting some people, some guests, you know, to come and watch. People are always curious of what I'm doing over here. So as I was saying, I always keep a little bowl of salt handy just for always seasoning meat whenever I'm cooking, especially bulk recipes. It just saves me searching for the salt and dealing with the salt shaker and whatnot. And the last ingredient is something that I brought from home here. And I think I've talked about this in the past, maybe when I did the nacho cheese. This is nutritional yeast. So this is that inactive, I think it's a byproduct of the molasses production, but it is an inactive yeast that kind of smells like stinky feet, kind of tastes like cheese. And it's a good secret ingredient in any of your plant-based cheeses, not a necessity. This cheese that I made earlier today that we were briefly talked about, no nutritional yeast in there at all, and it still tastes good and cheesy. So I'm going to add in almost equal parts. So I had about a cup of each of these, so I'm going to add almost a cup of this nutritional yeast in there. Actually, I'm going to add a bit more. And that's it, my friends. Then all we need to do is toss it onto our food processor and give it a good whirl up. And we just want to break down the nuts enough so that they become like quasi-powdered, but a little bit chunky, depending on how you want it for your Parmesan. I know, like a lot of us grew up, I grew up with that really powdered Parmesan that came in like that canister. Blah, super weird. That was fine at room. That's what I grew up putting on my spaghetti and meat sauce. But if you like your fresh grated Parmesan, like finely done with like a microplane, which I've talked about in the past, a Again, since I have it, microplane, really great tool to have in the kitchen for everything from grating cheese to chocolate to garlic to nutmeg. Nutmeg. This is again all up to you as far as texture goes. So I got my food processor and I'm just gonna pulse it. Well, I'm not gonna put it. I'm gonna put it on low. I'm changing my mind. I'm at liberty to do so. So letting that go. That's why I brought the bottle. Looking pretty good. I'm gonna go a little bit longer. Super weird. I have myself on 2 screens here right now, and this one is super delayed. So I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? Lee Rome says, hey Meg, hey Lee, what's up? And then I've also got Madeline Iyer saying, hi Meg, hello Madeline, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. A bada boom. Bada cheesy bing. There we go. Powdered homemade Parmesan. Now what you could do is you could go ahead and add in some dried herbs of any dried herbs of your liking, just to customize this recipe. But this is your basic one. Add more or less salt depending on how you like. For me, I like lots of salt, and for me, Parmesan is my salt in a lot of dishes if I were using it. So I would add a little bit more salt than maybe the average person. But again, this is you. These recipes are for you, and you guys are supposed to edit them. These are not Bible. These are not. Rules are meant to be broken as far as I'm concerned. So now I'm just scraping this into a bottle. A nice sealable glass jar for storage, and I would store this in the refrigerator, especially here in Costa Rica, only because it's so hot and humid here. Anything at room temperature can go rancid really fast, especially when you're dealing with raw nuts and seeds. Even in the North Americas, even when I was living in Canada, this is what happens when I'm standing here talking to a computer. I act like a goof. I mean, I'm a goof in general, but I get more goofy when I'm doing these lives. I don't know. What was I saying? Do you remember what I was saying?
It goes rancid.
Going rancid. Yes, thank you. This is good. I have helpers here today. Nuts and seeds, if you don't eat them really fast, I think you should always store them in the fridge and or freezer, and it would just help the oils in the raw nuts from going rancid. We don't want that. So whether you're in Costa Rica, Canada, US, Australia, England, wherever, refrigerate. And then look at this. Hi guys. Welcome. Then we have this beautiful jar of Parmesan cheese. Do you want some of this? Are you eating something savory or sweet? Oh, she's on dessert, so she won't want some of that. So that's recipe number 1, done. Label, homemade Parmesan, stick it in your fridge, good to go. Not over there. Next to do is a recipe that I use many different ways. I think I might have done a version of this in a past life. Ooh, I make that joke all the time. It does get old, doesn't it? If you've been watching all of these lives, you're probably like, it is old, Megan, stop doing it. But I probably did versions of this, but we're gonna do it again because we are doing this cheese thing today. And I will tell you, for next week, I'm probably gonna be doing a raw vegan cheesecake. So the recipe ingredients would be a little bit more simple. Today I'm doing a savory version. So we can swap out the ingredients, and I think I'll talk a bit about that in the comments afterwards. Mark Michelle says, far out. I love the nutritional yeast in my cheese sauce for my chips. It's the bomb. Amen. Nutritional yeast sprinkled on popcorn with coconut oil and sea salt, also super, super delicious. Leanna says, I can't wait to eat your cooking. Leanna, when are you joining us? When are you coming? When are you going to be able to hear cooking? Let me know. Write it in the comments. We'd love to know when you're coming to join us. Okay, so basic recipe for cashew cream cheese is what we're doing here is 1 part soaked cashews. So these are just cashews that have been soaking since about 8 o'clock this morning. Overnight is ideal. This is just to soften them up, and we talked a bit in the past about the idea that soaking nuts and seeds that are raw helps to increase their bioavailability for nutrition, helps with digestion, many different reasons. Many schools have thought on that. In this case, I'm just soaking them because it's going to be easier to whiz them up. The next thing I'm going to add is not necessary but optional. These are hemp hearts. And this is something that I brought down with me from Canada. There's a couple of companies in Canada that do these really, really well, organic. And these are the heart of the hemp seed. And these are a great omega-3 fat as well as a great source of plant-based protein. I like them because they blend down really, really, really creamy. So I like to add them to any of my vegan cheeses because they're super creamy. So I'm going to add in just about a 1/4 cup of that. optional. I think this was also an optional ingredient in the nacho cheese recipe that we did about 2 months back. Again, just for the creaminess factor and the extra nutritional. Oops. Next thing I'm going to add in is, again, with my nutritional yeast, I've got about 2 tablespoons here. Like, how easy are these recipes? Toss them in a machine and peace out. The next thing, still all of these same ingredients, if you're doing a sweet version, okay, talk. Drunk on coconut water. All of the ingredients so far go into the sweet version. We're going to be mixing it up in a moment to make it savory. A couple of tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. This is lemon juice. It's super orange in color, but that's just where lemons look here. Then you could leave it here and blend it up with water into a desired consistency so it's like a cream cheese. For the sweet version, you could add in some vanilla or some cinnamon, a little bit of honey or agave syrup or maple syrup or whatever you want to do to make it like a sweet cashew cream. Shout out to Shaman, Brad, and Scott here at Rythmia that always joke when I make any sort of sweet cream sauce. They ask me if it's a chantilly. They like when I make chantilly creams. So it'd be like a chantilly. But today we're doing a savory version. So I've got here 2 savory ingredients that have gotten a little bit stuck around because of the humidity. This is just some onion powder and or garlic powder would do the trick, and cumin. I like to add cumin to any of my savory dishes just for a little bit of warmth, a little bit of heating, a little bit of grounding. It's going to just give it a nice savory taste. So a couple of teaspoons of that. So that's the main base here, and then I'm going to add in a little bit of water just to help get my blending going. I don't know, about 3/4 of a cup, maybe that was. I don't know. I'll write it down for you. Onto our high-powered blender. Make sure you always have your blender turned way down. I've had many big messes in my kitchen where I don't pay attention. I've got it on high and I turn it on and I got smoothie everywhere, soup everywhere. So just be mindful. And it's super funny when you're trying to do things backwards and you're not really looking at things. Okay, so we got it on. I'm going to blend this up. So yummy. What else do you want? Anything? Hey! I'm stopping my blender just to say hello to my neighbor Jen Taylor Bonello, who lives in Exeter, right near my mom. Hello, Jen. It was lovely running into you at the supermarket when I was home visiting my mom about a week ago. Nice to see you joining us here live from Costa Rica. I bet you it's a lot colder where you are right now. Okay, and I'm not going to go all the way. You could let this blend till the cows come home in the essence of live Facebook. Oh, come on, come and smell this. No, better than smell this. I'm going to get you to give it a taste. So look at this. You can see, ooh, it's like creamy consistency. This is for you. You can just lift that right up. Oh, I didn't add any salt. Kind of an important ingredient. Even without the salt, huh? So I'm adding a titch of salt. A titch. Technical term there. But the nutritional yeast gives a little bit of salt. You're going to have to try it. You are going to have to try it again. Mix our salt in there. There we go. He's not double dipping. He's got a fresh spoon. Not that it matters. We're all friends here. Would you like to try? Do you want to come around in front of the camera? Remind me of your first name? Juliet. Juliet. So this is Juliet coming around. Hey, say hi to all our viewers, Juliet. Hi. Last week we had 11,000 people watching, so say hello to them. So you can stick your spoon in there. So this is our savory cream cheese. And you'll see it's super soft right now and really, really creamy. Once you put this into a container into the refrigerator for storage, it thickens up and it will spread like an actual cream cheese because then the fat in the nuts will kind of solidify a little bit. What do you think? A little bit like hummus. A little bit like hummus, yeah, exactly. Nut-based. So this is a paleo, grain-free, gluten-free, high-protein, nut-based hummus. And I have to say it like that, Nicole. Nicole's giving me a funny look as I was talking like that. So that's our second cheese. I'm going to just store that in this little bowl for now. That's probably a really annoying sound over the interweb. I'm sorry, guys. Yay! Juliet digs it. She's down with the plant-based cheese-izzle. So that's where you can put it in the... Oh, you know what? I have a refrigerator down here. Lest we forget. My secret. That I know where it is. Here, don't let me forget about that, kind of. Okay, so two cheeses down, right? And I don't need this again, so I'm gonna let that soak. I'm a washer as I go type in the kitchen. I like to keep my stuff clean as I work so that I'm not, going to grab this Vitamix again later and it's wet, or sorry, completely filthy and food's been dried on into it. So I like to wash as I go. So we've got that one. The next thing we're going to do is a feta style cheese. So we've done a Parmesan, so a nice dry crumbly cheese. We've done a really creamy cashew cream cheese. The next thing we're going to do is a feta style cheese. And this one is kind of fun and it looks festive. And if you're like doing wine and cheese parties or anything like that, this is a fun one to do for such events. So, love it or hate it, I'm using tofu today. A lot of people are against tofu. A lot of people don't like soy. A lot of people just have certain reasons to not be eating soy-based products. But we're going to do it today just because I want to show the variety of different ways we can do the vegan cheese. And I've got a nice super firm tofu here. You want to look for, if you can find it, sprouted organic tofu, just because then it's not going to be GMO. We don't know a lot about GMOs just yet, so better safe than sorry. And what I've got here is just some paper towel. You could use a nice clean tea towel at home. And what I want to do is drop my bowl on the ground. I am such a mess. This morning I grabbed my kombucha out of the fridge and dropped the whole bottle on the ground, and the lid smashed open. There was kombucha all over the floor. My cat and my dog were like, what is going on? I'm going to blame the wind, and I'm on Vata overdrive. As we talked about last week in Ayurveda, my Vata is being driven by this crazy dry winds that we're having. Okay, focusing. So I got a little bit of my towels here. I'm going to just lay out my chunks of tofu, and I just want to get rid of any of the excess moisture because these typically tofu comes packed in water or a brine. So I'm just going to put my tofu onto this paper towel, and I'm just going to press it out. We're not going to go too crazy here. It doesn't need to be so dry. Like, for example, if we were going to be pan frying it or something, we would want to have, like, super, super dry so that there's no moisture in it, because if there's much moisture in it, then it's not going to brown up in your pan. You're going to get more of a steam effect. But today we're going to actually be marinating it, so it's not that big a deal. We just want to get out a little bit of the water so that it becomes a bit more of a sponge to absorb in the flavors of the ingredients that we're going to marinate it in. Hey, bada boom, bada bing. Then I'm just going to flip it off my towel. And I'm going to grab my knife, and I'm going to just chop this up. Because what we're doing is we're going to make this into a marinated, like, feta. So you've probably seen in the grocery store where you can buy these beautiful olive oil, herb marinated feta cheeses. And typically they have, the cheeses in the feta's in little chunks like this. Christian, are you going to come say hi to our viewers? We're talking about plant-based cheese. I might have something for you to taste test.
Are you on right now?
We're live right now, yeah.
Live right now?
Come on in. You want to try some plant-based sunflower cheese?
Hi, everyone.
You guys all know our dear friend, Handsome Christian. He did his live yesterday. If you didn't catch it, thanks, honey. If you didn't catch it live yesterday, then you can go back into the video archives on the Facebook page here at Rythmia or the YouTube, and you can catch yours. What was your talk about yesterday?
What was it? About the emotional dimension of breath work. Getting better at feeling. Breath work is one of the things we do here at Rythmia to support our health, along with our lovely vegan and healthy food, plant-based food.
Plant-based, love-filled food. So this is a vegan sunflower seed cheese that I made yesterday, and it spent the overnight hours culturing in the dehydrator. I'm going to give it a little try. It's sunflower seeds. I haven't done the recipe yet, so I'm not going to go into too much detail about it. But he won't lie. If he doesn't like it, he's going to tell me he doesn't like it.
That's right. This is unrehearsed.
Unrehearsed. Unplanned, as always. You like it? Does it taste a little bit tangy, like a cheese?
Yeah, it's tangy. It's almost like like amino acid overtone or something.
Yeah, because typically one of the versions of this recipe includes Bragg's aminos, which, brand name. Woo, edit that out. It has like liquid aminos or soy sauce, and this recipe has a tamari or soy sauce component, and that's what gives it a really umami, deep, rich flavor. And it's been cultured and aged overnight, so that will help a lot as well. And we're going to have a couple of other secret ingredients going into it when we make it in a little while. But live testimonial that this plant-based cheese is tasty. Imagine that on a little cracker with some mango chutney or something. 2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
I got to go greet some people now.
Thanks for joining us.
I hope I will greet you here soon.
Yes. Bye. Okay. Hyacinth Mills. What a beautiful name. Hyacinth Mills says, sounds yummy. I love nut cheese. It's the best ever. Correct. It is super good. I mean, if you're not going into this expecting like an exact duplicate or replicate of like a cow-based dairy cheese, you can have so much fun and find so many new unique flavors and textures doing, enjoying these plant-based cheeses. And I'm not. Don't get me wrong. This whole plant-based cheese thing that I'm doing here, by no means am I telling you stop eating regular cheese. That is like not at all what I'm trying to do here. I'm just saying, why not explore other options? Here at Rythmia, like I've said a million times, we do serve cheese. We serve feta cheese and cheddar cheese and yogurt, and we just happen to get them from an amazing goat farm around the corner where I know the quality and I know the goats and I know the ingredients and I feel really good about it. And I know that a lot of people have an okay time digesting goat milk products, even if dairy or cow's milk dairy is a problem or more inflammatory. The goat milk products are a little bit easier for the vast majority. Me personally, I'll eat any kind of cheese because I love it. Put a Spanish Manchego in front of me, aged 6 months, and I will eat the whole darn ring of it. So I'm not trying to do this in any way to say stop eating what you love, just maybe explore other options. And it's super easy to do. And if you're trying to encourage friends and family to eat more plants, this is a really easy way to do it. So look, I've got all my tofu sliced up into my little feta-esque balls. I'm just going to grab a bowl here, and then we're going to make the marinade. So I'm going to put a pinch of salt in my bowl, because I don't want to forget that this time. And then the marinade is super simple. I've got super. I say super a lot. Maybe we should play a game, because I realized I watched a couple of my videos back a while ago, and I realized I say super a lot. So maybe next week we should run a tally how many times I say super. And I don't know what we can do with that statistic, but I think I say it's super easy. It's super tasty. It's super good. Hey, Kenneth, isn't that super? I do say it. Super. It's so super. I think we need to investigate this because I have a bit of a problem. So first ingredient, olive oil. And this is going to be part of our vehicle for flavor, and it's also going to be what helps keep all of the other flavored ingredients suctioning onto our tofu feta. Here I've got some apple cider vinegar. So this is going to give us our bit of a tang and our nice acid notes. I'm going to make sure I'm not using the wrong ingredients here that I decided to use. Okay. In this little container here, I have red pepper flakes, dried oregano, and garlic powder. Really pretty. Ooh, why can't I? There we go. Beautiful. So I'm going to toss those in. Then I've got some living greens here. I've got some fresh parsley that I've minced up, as well as some jalapeno. And this jalapeno I've just done in little rounds. Kept the seeds and the ribs in because I want the heat. If you don't want the heat necessarily, don't add the jalapeno. Or you could get rid of just the seeds and the ribs. You could swap this out for any sort of Thai chili if you want to make it look a little bit prettier. You could add in a red chili pepper or a red jalapeno and slice that up. Michelle says, hey, Christian, Meg, I love your hair. Oh, thank you so much. My lack of hair? Me too. This is how I had it for like 5 years, and I thought I'd like to grow it out, but that has lasted all of 6 months. This is much more comfortable for me and much more liberating for me, and I feel actually more happy and confident without hair. So I'm going to add my jalapeno and my parsley in here. What else did I say? So tofu, jalapeno, chili flakes, lemon juice. So I'll add another flavor note and a bit more acid. I'm going to rate this recipe again as for you guys in the comments. Sea salt, black pepper, oregano, awesome. Tiny bit of water just to help stretch it a little bit. Give it a good mix. Yummy, yummy, yummy. So this is just our marinade. Then I'm going to just carefully toss my feta cubes in there. So super great source of protein, this vegan cheese, obviously, because it is tofu based. Giving this a nice mix in, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Just imagine placing this on the table with a nice baguette, some balsamic and olive oil, a nice little starter dish. Look at that, so pretty. And then I've got a jar here, and then what I would do is I'm just going to add this into this jar, and then refrigerate it. And I would do this at least, there goes my recipes, that's okay. I would do this at least 30 minutes before I wanted to serve it so that the tofu has a nice amount of time to really absorb the flavor. Dumping this in here. I don't want to put this in here just so I can show you guys how pretty it is. You'll get a better idea how pretty this recipe is once I have it in this clear jar. I'm Look at me, I'm even calling it feta. I'm losing concept of tofu. Jumping ship. I don't want to go into the jar. Like so. Lid on. Juan Carlos, Moira is watching. Ana Maria is watching. So lovely to see you, Lorena. Hello, Lorena. Nice to see you. Love having all of you familiar faces online with us. And look at that. Beautiful. Marinated feta. All ready to go. Leave it in the fridge. Let it sit. And again, swap out the ingredients. This is just a baseline recipe. I want you guys to experiment with the ingredients. You know, swap out the parsley for a different herb. Maybe basil or cilantro. You know, fresh mint. If you want to be a little bit more Greek, add in all those different types of herbs. Oh, do you want to try that, Kenneth?
Yes.
So this one is not going to be as ready. It's not going to be as delicious just yet because it typically needs a bit more time to marinate.
Just tasting.
Just tasting with a fresh spoon.
Just tasting. Sorry, excuse me.
What do you think? Almost tastes like cheese. Got the texture of a nice crumbly feta. Very good. It's super good.
Super.
All right, that goes in the fridge. Where am I at for time here? 2:31. Oh, I'm just going to take a little break for some coconut water.
It's spicy. I love the spicy.
Yeah, the spiciness is nice. And it'll get a little bit spicier as it sits because the oils, the essential oils will come out of the jalapeno, infuse into the olive oil, apple cider vinegar, and lemon mixture that it's all sitting in, and then you'll get a little bit more heat towards the end from the jalapeno on top of the chili pepper. Final recipe, my friends. So this is a recipe that I started doing at one of the other restaurants that I was working at when I first got to Costa Rica, but it's actually also a recipe that I did versions of when I was doing my raw food chef training course. It's a pretty basic one. I think one of the pioneers of raw vegan food made this really popular in the 60s and 70s, and it is a sunflower seed cheese. Super easy to do. If you Google this online, you're going to get a million versions of the exact same recipe. And it's so easy, and it's cost effective because we're not using nuts here. We're using seeds. Also really good for households that have nut allergies. So we're not going to be using traditional cashew or macadamia. We're going to be using sunflower seeds. So this one is going to be made in the food processor because we want to keep a bit of texture. As you will see here in my slice of cheese, there is it's grainy. It's got texture. That again is up to you. You could always go a little bit smoother, but I like the texture in it. You already tried this one, right?
Yes.
Okay. So super easy. Super easy. Sunflower seeds, 2 cups. Into the food processor. Sesame seeds. How do we say that in Spanish? Anojoli. Anjojoli. Anjojoli. I call them semillas de sesamo. Semillas means seeds. Anjojoli. That's a funny word. Anyways, we're going to put those in. These are going to give a nice texture, but also sesame seeds have a lot of calcium in them. So I always like to, when we're making vegan versions of cheese. Cheese is supposed to be high in calcium. This is going to be equalized. It's our equalizer. It's bringing our calcium back. You could add those to any of your vegan cheeses if you want. Toss those in. A couple of ingredients here that we haven't used much of in any of these recipes today. We're going to use raw garlic. And the reason I'm using raw garlic in this particular recipe is because we're going to be culturing it and letting it go for a couple of days. So the rawness, the really strong pungent flavor of the raw garlic is going to be dissipated by that culturing process. In all the other recipes you'll see we did use garlic powder. So 2 garlic cloves. And to help with the culturing process, like you normally would culture cheese, we're going to culture dairy cheese. We're going to culture our sea cheese. I'm going to add in a couple of vegan probiotic capsules. So these are just like, I will tell you right now that our lovely multitasker, Stacy, who is one of our staff that lives on site here, I asked her to give me a couple of these from her personal stash this morning because I know I forgot to bring some from my home. And because these are literally just the probiotic capsules that many of us take every morning just to help with our digestion and to keep our gut flora healthy. So just look for some vegan ones. And this is going to really help with the culturing and the aging process and make it our final product have a lot more of a fermented aged cheese flavor. So I'm just going to, these are vegan so that I could use the capsules. I wouldn't be too concerned about it, but I'm going to open them up and dump the powder in because it's just going to save me having to worry about making sure that the actual shells get processed down into nothing. No one would want to bite into an emptied out capsule in their cheese. Pinch of salt. And as I mentioned when Christian was here, some soy sauce. If you have tamari, if you prefer aminos, if you prefer nama shoyu, which is the raw vegan version, you could go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to use regular soy because that's what I have and it's super cost effective. I'm using the light version, so it's got a little bit of sodium in it. Hi guys. Hi, how are you? How was lunch? All right. What's that? All right, cool. We'll see you in a few hours. Sorry about that. And that's it. Actually, I'm not even going to add any water. So now it's just a matter of blending this up to the consistency that you want. On the go, and I'm going to start this on low and then kick it up to high. Whoop. Did I? Oh, you know what is really funny is I don't have my blade. Kind of an important thing. The actual food processor blade, kind of an important component when it comes to making things in your food processor. Luckily, this isn't a lot of volume, so I can just stick it in there. Silly. Silly me. All right, take two. Ridiculous. Kenneth is laughing at me over there. He's not the one that has to do these Facebook Lives and keep it all together. Just keeping an eye on where I want it to go. Oh, texturally smells delicious. I'm going to scrape down the sides. The sesame seeds tend to jump up and get caught on the edges, so I'm just going to scrape those down. If you find that it is a little bit too dry and doesn't look like it's coming together at all, add a bit of water or a bit more soy sauce. Just be careful with adding more soy because that is salt as well. You don't want it to be too salty because the flavors are going to get stronger as we age it and ferment it as well. Let that go, and while I do that, I'm going to get my next two things ready for prep. So many things. And another scrape down. Whee! Oh, tossing food on my laptop. This is looking good. It's smelling really good. You can really smell that soy sauce. That umami. Going in, not. So, as you'll see, the finished product, they look like a couple of little brie wheels. So that's what we're going to do next, hence my rubber gloves. It's food safety. So this is what we're going for our final product. So this is the dehydrated 24-hour aged queso. You'll see that on the bottom it's a little bit darker. It's still pretty soft on the inside, and it's got a nice rind, like you'll hear. It's got a nice rind on the outside, like a camembert or a brie cheese, and that's what we're going for. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do it in the dehydrator. You don't have to do it in the dehydrator. You could do this really slow in the oven as well. But if you have a dehydrator, super handy. So I've got here my dehydrator sheet. And the dehydrator I've talked about in previous sessions, and I think I might do a dehydrating class at some point as a whole Facebook Live. But this is just one of the trays, and this is one of the non-stick sheets that we talked about, and that's just going to help keep my cheese from sticking. And then all we need to do is take our sunflower mix, grab enough to form into a ball, and you'll see that it's nice and sticky, easily forming and sticking together. Bada boom, bada bing, form it into a decent ball, press it down onto the sheet, and then we're just going to form it into our little rounds, just like that. And then what I'll do is I'll put this in the dehydrator, and I would leave this probably, I like to do it overnight to get the consistency of this final one, so it's soft on the inside and just got a nice rind on the outside. You could do it for even longer and let it go till it gets to be almost like a hard cheese that you need a good knife to cut through. Depends how you want to use it. The current consistency, which was 24 hours, more or less, in the dehydrator, it's just hard enough that you can eat it out of your hand without it really getting too mushy, but it's soft enough that you could still spread it. And you could also consider trying this at home and then incorporating other flavors like different herbs, like dried herb de Provence, adding in like rosemary and sliced olives would be really good. Like you can really play around with that. You could do more of a sweet and savory version with like cranberries, maybe some, and then serve it with a drizzle of honey. The options are endless, and maybe we'll talk a little bit more about how we can do that next week when we do applications. Plant-based cheese applied. We'll be applying it to other recipes next week. So that being said, we are done for the day, my friends. There's the one, and I'm going to go through and use the rest of this. I'll probably get three little rounds from this recipe. The recipe that I'm going to share with you guys. And I'm going to go ahead and form the rest of those and let this go. And because I add the probiotic to this one, it's going to actually get a lot more tangy and more cheese-like in flavor than this one here that Christian and Kenneth tried. I didn't have any probiotic for this one. This was just the natural fermenting. And it is fermenting a little bit. Like when we put these preservative-free natural food products into a food dehydrator, you know, there's a certain amount of bacteria growth that's going to happen, and that's what, you know, culturing is all about. It's like encouraging that aging process. So this one is going to be kick-started with the probiotic, so it's going to be even more potent in flavor. And then I'll have this cheese ready for us to play with next Sunday. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up, and we are at 2:41, which is pretty much around the exact same time I do every week, right? About 40 minutes, 37 to 45 minutes. So again, super excited to have you, super excited to have you all here. As always, thanks for tuning in. Do not forget, tomorrow is Dr. Jeff's Facebook Live. Can't remember the name of what he's talking about tomorrow, but tune in for that, which is 6 p.m. Costa Rica time, I believe. And join me, please, again next Sunday, live from Nosara, Costa Rica, talking about plant-based cheese applied. Kenneth, want to say goodbye? Everyone can see your arm anyway.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Perfect.
Have a beautiful evening, night, and morning.
Excellent. Deborah, thank you. She says, great session. I say thank you for joining us. Thanks for all the love, guys. And we will see you guys very soon online here at Rythmia or out in the rest of the world. Peace.